Hello Internet, it's Zeg. I'm back in Factorio. It's been another couple of days since I last played, but I do remember what I was going to do this time because this may possibly be the last episode of this series of videos. Because as I mentioned, we're kind of at the end of the tech tree, and as such there's not really much more to show off. And then it will probably be a good long time until I actually reach the achievement goal. So we'll probably get through what there is to show, and then maybe I'll add an extra video. I don't know. We'll see. I may not even get through what there is left to do in this episode, so we'll have to see about that as well. Because the idea will be, in fact I'll just cue this up right now, after Worker Robot Speed is done, we'll get on with the rocket silo and the bomb. Because that's really the last two things. Rocket silo obviously just to finish the game, as it were, and the bomb because that actually has a new effect in version 1, so I want to see that. Just like I wanted to see Spidertron. It's one of the late game things to see. So, we need to start thinking about rocket components, which, if I remember rightly, means we need control units, low density structure, and rocket fuel. Yes. We can already make control units and low density. Well, can we make rocket fuel? I've forgotten whether we already unlocked that or not. Where would that be? Components. Yes, we can already make rocket fuel. Yes. So we basically just need to set up some kind of factory that will make all of those parts in preparation for unlocking the actual silo. Obviously over here we're already making low density structures for the science packs, which I could split off, but I'd rather not. I'd rather keep it separate. So maybe we try and let's look at the components and try and balance it towards whichever one is likely to be the slowest / use the most resources. So low density structures is like 1 copper plate per second, and then like 1/10 of a steel plate. Rocket control units, now obviously we're bringing the processing units from the circuit factory, and then speed modules we'll be making here out of the red and green circuits that are in this factory. So that one is probably going to be the slowest. I mean, it's already a 30-second crafting time, but then you've got to add the speed modules as well. And you'll notice that in the total raw there, it does technically use way more copper than the low density structures, but that's obviously all that copper is over in the circuit factory rather than on the belt over here. So that if you're looking at just what's in this factory, the actual rocket control unit recipe is effectively 1 blue, 5 red and 5 green circuits in 30 seconds. So it's still like, that's less than, is that less? Yeah, that is less than the 1 copper plate per second. It's less than 1 circuit per second, right? No, is it? Let me just maths for a second. Yes, it is. Don't know why I thought that was hard. Maybe the actual biggest usage will be the rocket fuel, because 10 solid fuel and 10 light oil, and then solid fuel you're going to be making out of light oil, so that's another 100 light oil. So we're obviously going to need a pipe coming down from up here at the, well, or maybe I'll just put it on a belt. Yeah, we could just put it on a belt, I suppose. We've still got a couple of belts free in the bus that I can just run rocket fuel down. And then if I want to, I could also branch that up to fuel my trains. Ooh, the first box of solid fuel has finally run out on my train fueler. Just have a quick look at my reactor to make sure that's all still working as intended. Yes, looks like it is. Looks like I did eventually fix all the little glitches in that system. Okay, so yeah, let's start with I guess let's start with rocket fuel, because we're probably going to. Well, no, if we're going to put rocket fuel on the belt, then we don't need to start with rocket fuel. We should probably start with the rocket control units, and then we'll scale it based on that. Because I'm going to build that over here on this side of the bus, which means I obviously can't interfere with my spaceship. We're going to fit in as many factories making the control units as we can here, and then scale the rest of the rocket silo to that, probably. Or I could do it on the other side. I don't know. Realistically, how fast are we even going to be making this stuff? Well, let's start by just switching my hotbar. Let's start by just having a look at what this actually takes. So obviously one blue circuit, one speed module. The speed modules take 15 seconds to make one, and this takes 30 seconds to consume one, so you can do a 2-to-1 on that. And then it's obviously 5 and 5. And if each of these is 1 in 30 and each of these is 1 in 20, then you need 2/3 as many of those as you do of these. Oh, and this copper mine has run out. So what I should actually probably do is, if we... How did I set this up again? I just brought it back here and set it to manual, didn't I? Right, yeah, it can't actually go until there's space. Let's send it over to circuits copper because there's space there. Then it will unload, then it will come back here, and then I can stop it, and then we'll be able to dismantle all of this. In fact, I suppose I need to send these trains somewhere because otherwise they're going to be in the way. So I should probably make a siding just for the meantime. Doesn't really need signals except to stop the main line from seeing it. So let's see if I can get this train in here first, which is... it's on manual, it's this one. Could you come to right here? And then we can get rid of all the rest of your stuff. Siding not quite long enough. Okay. Not that it's strictly necessary to put these guys in a siding or anything, I could just pick them up, but since they're all pre-configured, well, does it matter? I guess I have blueprints to drop pre-configured trains anyway, don't I? Yeah, I should probably just pick them up. I'm trying to be much too fancy. The important thing was to send the copper train out to actually get it unloaded, rather than having to pick up anything, and it seems like it's on its way back. Nope. And it didn't manage to unload, so it's not very helpful. Tell you what, what, let's set this one to manual for a sec. And we'll set the copper train station to just accept a bunch more for a minute. That'll get it unloaded. So in the meantime, let's clean up all this crap. I'm also going to reroute this train line because I hate this wiggly bit. Even if it's going to make a weird, like, diagonal corner back to the artillery loader. I mean, could I actually reroute that entirely, like all the way down here? I mean, I guess. It's just nice to have it all linked into one junction. And I did expect the rocket silo bit, well, it might go over the railway, maybe. Where are you at, train? Like, seriously, where are you at? There. Okay, it's getting there. Okay, that's worker robot speed. Now we're on to the silo research, which is only 1,000 long, so that's not going to take too long. Whereas the bomb is 5,000, so that's going to take longer. Oh wait, hang on. That train unnecessarily goes over there, doesn't it? Nope, just come back over here. And then we also need to go back to this train, go back to the copper station, set this back down to 2,000. Well, even though that number probably needs changing. And dismantle all this. Okay, good. All that stuff that I've had since the start of the game has finally gone. Right, let's quickly do this. Bit of rearrangement. Also get rid of this. Oh, wait, not that. There's a little bit of stone still up here, but that's fine. Wait, that one might need to be the diagonal. the other diagonal. Actually, where is the artillery train right now? Let me actually just stop that when it gets to its next station, so it doesn't try and path up here while I'm busy removing all the rails. Is that red dot on the map actually real? I would have thought that can't be a worm, right? No, that's got to be a radar shadow. Here we go, much better. I mean, not much better, it still looks weird, but it's now on the grid, and that's probably what matters. Okay, so let's build... I think for the aesthetics of it, we'll probably build the rocket silo next to the rocket, and then we'll build the stuff making the rocket components below, and maybe over the railway. That would probably look the best. These. No. Okay, so it needs blue circuits in, rocket components out, and then red and green circuits in. Now, do we want to make this a double-sided belt for just rocket components? Yeah, I guess so. Probably. Wait. That was not the right button. Oh wait, I know why that happened. Hang on a minute. I actually have to go out of the game for a second to fix that. There we go. Yeah, something like that should be fine. So let's just give it clearance below the rocket of at least a few tiles. And then I guess line it up with where the front of this is. Let's see, if we go for 30 of these, then we can do 20 of the low density structures, and then 30 of the rocket fuel, which is probably far too much. Rocket fuel might actually be the limiting factor. So that's technically 16, that's technically 32, so slightly more than necessary, but that'll be fine. And then arms. And I'm probably going to have to fix a whole bunch of jaggedy wires as well. Well, kind of. Some of them got in the correct pattern, some of them didn't. Okay, that should be fine. Don't think there's going to be enough space for the low density structures below here. We might have to either do that on the other side of the rail or do it on the opposite side of the bus. Probably the opposite side of the bus would be better. Because, I mean, it's not like we're going to do anything else on this side of the bus past the yellow signs anyway. But anyway, I guess it's time to move into another 2 hours of sped up footage, which will be mostly just set up time for the ending. Get all the rocket silo parts made and the rocket silo and get it all set up, possibly with beacons and whatnot, or at least productivity modules. And then hopefully during the 2 hour period that will prepare a rocket for launch, so we can launch that as soon as we come back and get the bomb research done as well, maybe. And if I find enough time to do any other various upgrades to maybe the circuit factory or copying the circuit factory, then we'll see if that can happen as well. But for now, let's just get on with it and see how it goes. And we're back. Evidently we're not going to be launching the bomb this episode. The research didn't get done, mainly because I'd forgotten I also needed to research the satellite for space science. So that had to get queued up. So looks like we're going to get at least one more episode. So obviously the rocket's ready to go. We'll deal with that in a minute. We've been having various shortages of minerals coming in. So I upgraded the steel line with beacons to make it slightly more efficient. Well, it uses ore at pretty much the same rate. It's just got the productivity modules in, so you get 20% more out of it. Because as ever, steel is the one thing that you never have enough of when you get to the late game productions. But then I was also running out of copper in main base, so I went and set up another copper mine over here on this patch. And I came over here to finally upgrade all the circuit belts so that the circuit factory can actually fill its train a little faster, because the train was waiting for quite a long time to get full for the circuits coming back to main base, but that's probably still fine. We're not actually using them that much. So yeah, I think it's probably time to launch this rocket and quote-unquote finish the game. Do it. Whoosh. And we win. Any interesting kill stats in the kill stats? I've managed to kill several rail signals because I forgot that rail signals aren't flame-proof, so all the rail signals around my artillery post tend to get burnt up. Apart from that, it's pretty much all the standard things you'd expect. Okay, and then space science is coming, so we can theoretically start doing even higher tier of science. We particularly need the rocket silo stats, really. And obviously it's just going to start making another rocket immediately. Okay, so what can I actually do to improve this base for the next episode? I mean, during the next episode, I suppose, since I'll have another 2 hours to work on it while we're finishing off the bomb research, and also probably moving on to some extra research beyond that. Well, it's mainly just a matter of getting more resources in. I probably should finally get around to putting the proper circuit network control on the rail toggling, so that I can actually have my trains run a bit more efficiently and not go away if the station gets full. And then it's a matter of more or less just expanding, and of course the ever-present situation of the achievement of will I ever get round to duplicating the circuit factory and making an improved version of this. I mean, really, this factory has been running at pretty much full speed the entire time, regardless of whether it's... Well, I mean, of course it has, because I've made it overflow into the circuit, into the modules. But as you can see now, since I picked up all the modules when I was doing the beacon upgrades, it hasn't actually made any more. It's pretty much all been going into the blue circuits for the rocket silo stuff, since we're now actually using the blue circuits in the main base. So if I do want to make more modules at this point, I probably will need a second circuit factory. So probably what we'll end up doing is going out and claiming at least a couple more resource deposits. We'll probably want at least, one more iron deposit and a couple more copper deposits if we're going to keep it in proportion. But if we're just going to make a simple upgrade, we can probably just take one of each. I mean, we've got this copper deposit on the wall, which is relatively easy to hook up. Well, I say that, but I don't know where I'm going to run the train line. I could probably extend that through that station and just make another station down here. Pick up from that copper. Iron-wise might be the slightly more awkward one. We probably want to go out maybe out here and claim this double deposit, which, you know, the aliens aren't too dense down there, so we can probably easily clear that out with Spidertron. I mean, we can probably easily clear out most things with Spidertron. And how is coal actually doing at the moment? 2.9 million. Yeah, coal is still not going to be a problem for a good long while. Okay. Yeah, and we already changed this bit of wall to be open rather than sealed, since it runs through the artillery grid. Although arguably if I do extend down to here, I could move that artillery post rather than making a new one. Probably would be better just make a new one. Oh yeah, and stone is, we've still got 2.8 million in that stone deposit, so that's still nowhere near to running out. And oil is still flowing well enough after I did the little overflow petroleum gas fuel blocks into the rocket fuel maker to make sure that it can always clear out some of the gas if the light or oil gets too low. And these oil wells are nowhere near running low, so we're pretty much good on that front. And the reactors are still well under capacity, because what is my actual power usage now? Even with the beaconed furnaces, we're still only like a third of the way through my actual power capacity. So yeah, I'm going to say we maybe get in Spidertron and go down here and clear this out, extend the rail. I should really make a better blueprint for stations so that I can just plop it down. That would be much easier rather than constantly having to fiddle with it afterwards. A blueprint that actually has the walls and the turrets built in and has the correct belts and all the boxes and stuff. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I'll do that on this run. Oh yeah, and how's uranium doing? Oh yeah, we've barely even touched that uranium deposit. I don't think the centrifuges have even run again yet, that I've noticed. What does he say? They've done 300 or 400 cycles. Obviously there's going to be a little more usage once I pick up the uranium I need to make the bombs. Is there anything in here that looks like it's running a bit low? Like the engine belt looks a little sparse, but it's actually keeping up just fine. And then rocket production is just more or less the end of the line for everything, so that just uses whatever's left. In fact, I should probably set all the splitters priority just to make sure, but it's not really. It seems like even with research running and the rocket going, everything is keeping up at this point, providing the incoming resources keep up. So yes, we're evidently going to get one more episode, maybe a shorter episode. Well, it depends how long the actual bomb research takes. If it takes another 2 hours, or you know, I might just play another 2 hours. It might just be the intro and the outro that's a bit shorter. And we can continue to pick away at the mass production. How many have we made at this point? 2.2 million. Which means we're at... How much did I work it out what it was? It was like 14.6 when we started, so we're nearly... We're at about 16.8-ish. Maybe. But I think we'll leave this episode here. It's slightly earlier than usual, since the next episode is also going to be shorter, and the atomic bomb research is halfway through. So we may as well put the end card up, which has our information. There's a Facebook, there's a Twitter, mostly to inform you when we post our podcast, which is available on our website or on other podcast obtaining sites. That was a weird way to say that, but it's true. And this is our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe, comment, bell, whatever, all those things. And that's the end of this video. Rocket launch success. Launch me out of this video, I guess. I'm not going to do anything fancy like Rob would, but bye.